River West, Milwaukee, and possibly the globe. Welcome to Compose Yourself with Julie Brandenburg, a radio workshop for songwriters and composers. We are broadcasting from the River West Film and Video Headquarters on Center Street in the heart of beautiful downtown River West. And the rabbi just arrived with some fresh, new, beautiful flowers. Yay. Each week I will have a panel of songwriters, composers, students, and listeners here to share songs and discuss the craft of songwriting and composing. Our panel in the studio today is Jacob Mushin, bass player for the Freddie Lee Band and for the JB4. We are expecting Denise Burton to be arriving soon. She is a composer and songwriter, and she also goes by the name of Compose. And our guest today is Tom Hansen, and Jacob Mushin is here. He's the bass player for the Freddie Lee Band. So our guest today is Tom Hansen, my friend for a long time, and violinist, and he is also a water scientist. And it's his birthday! Yay! Woo!
Happy birthday!
Yay! Tom's birthday. Well, actually it's tomorrow, but I had it on my calendar as today. I don't know why.
Well, maybe it's just you're celebrating it today. Sort of like a bunch of other birthdays we have in our lives where we celebrate them on different days.
True.
Right.
It's kind of like your birthday eve.
Yes, yes, it is.
That extends the amount of celebrating that can take place.
Yeah, exactly.
At your birthday. So this is Tom's birthday eve celebration here today, and
Well, Jewish holidays all start the night before, so
he's not Jewish though.
it doesn't matter. I'll start celebrating the night before.
Well,
Okay.
somebody's celebrating their birthday starting now, so it may as well be us.
Yeah, may as well be us. Well, I have to say that today we are going to be talking a lot about a concert that I'm staging on Saturday, so I have to admit there will be a lot of promotion for that, which is part of why I'm really glad you're here, because the fact of the matter is you have performed on a lot of my compositions, so that's really awesome. And so, because this concert is Saturday, I will explain what's going on. It's at the Jazz Gallery. It's at 7:30. The Jazz Gallery is also located in the heart of beautiful River West, on the same street as the Film and Video Store, only it's a couple blocks east. And Center and Wheel is this cross street. It's 926 East Center. So at 7:30, I will be having performances of my classical music. And so the first piece will be a performance of a piece called Singularity, which I'll play at the end of the show. And it's for piano, guitar, and flute. And Steve Peplin, my colleague, the jazz guitarist over at MATC, is going to be playing guitar. And Aaron Gardner, the winds teacher at MATC, is going to be playing flute, and I am going to be playing piano, so I'm pretty excited about that. Steve and I decided to kind of collaborate on this concert together, since he is being so kind as to play the piece that I just described. It's insanely ridiculously hard. It really is. And he's doing just an absolutely amazing, as one would expect, he's doing an amazing job with it. So the deal we kind of struck is we'll have him play on my piece, and then I will hire a string quartet to play on our other pieces. So then Steve's string quartets are going to be performed, and then my new string quartet, which has just been finished this fall, called Willowish, will be performed. Steve is also going to perform a solo composition. And so it's a nice little collaboration with my colleague. I'm really excited. I'm excited to be working with Aaron. So I thought we'd start off the show playing one of Steve's songs. Now, the compositions that Steve is going to have performed on this concert are classical compositions. And the piece I'm going to play for you is not, because his first and greatest love is he's a wonderful jazz guitarist and a composer. So this is a composition in the jazz style of Steve's called Infinite Stairways. Infinite Stairways on RiverWestRadio.com. The composition and performance was by Steve Pepper. And he will have some of his music performed Saturday at the Jazz Gallery at 7:30, but what you hear Saturday is his classical music. So, the next thing I would like, well, I guess before I introduce the next song, I'm going to explain my friendship with Tom, which began in the early 90s. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. And it started with you were playing with a couple of bands around town, and I needed a violinist, or I wanted to have violin in my band, and I think Jeff Hamilton suggested that I contact you.
Yes, well, you guys practiced in the same space as we did with that band I was in, Landing Party.
Oh, right, I remember Landing Party was with your brother.
And Jeff was in that band too for a while. And
All right, and Denise is here. Yay, Denise. Denise, this is Tom, and he's a long-standing, notice I didn't say old, long-standing friend of mine for years and years. Played on a lot of the True Heart Susie recordings. Nice. And it's his birthday, so
Happy
well, it's actually mine, but we're having a birthday party here, so come on in. And we just played a song by Steve Peplin because of the concert that we're doing on Saturday.
Okay.
And so there's going to be a lot of shameless self-promotion today for that concert.
Sounds
it's like
great.
The whole show is shameless self-promotion.
Awesome.
And of course, we don't have a
Awesome.
kazoo.
Gotta love it. I know. We've been missing our kazoo. We miss you, Spencer.
Yeah, we do. Spencer had a meeting tonight for Zappa Fest, which is going to be taking place December 28th at Linneman's.
Nice.
So he's gone for a good cause, Zappa music, the music of Frank Zappa. So Tom and I got together in my band, True Heart Susie, and I think that must have been like 1991. And on the first record, I always wanted to put something on my records that were just a little bit outside the box. And so this one was a classical piece called Three Sheets. And Tom and his friend Scott Eisfeld played a duet for this violin composition, and it ended up on the rock album. So I would like to play that. This is one of the first things that Tom had recorded for me, and the piece is called Three Sheets. 3 Sheets on riverwestradio.com. And I just switched inputs. Let's see if this mic is working. I think the mic's not working. Okay. I am going to try Jacob's mic. Jacob's mic seems to be working. Hey, I'm in your ear now. Before I was just this distant ghost in the past.
That was very much better.
Yes, much better. So I think that Jacob and I will just be sharing the mic for the rest of the show. All right. Well, that was 3 Sheets. And I was always really just real happy with this recording that Tom and Scott made. You guys played it with such sensitivity.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to do that, because just listening to it and hearing Scott's playing, and it brings back the memories. And
Yeah.
because Scott and I always play well together, because we have like different personalities, and we know how to follow each other, and it's always a good time.
Yeah, I kind of made fun of the personalities thing in a string quartet that I wrote later. I had a movement where the personalities of the 2 violinists were sort of brought forward, and Tom was kind of the mischievous sort of goofing around kind of guy, and Scott in the quartet was more serious, like, no, Tom, it must be played like this. But this, of course, was all told through music.
Yeah.
So. You guys played that, didn't you?
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah, you played it.
Yeah, we did.
I don't think we have a recording with you guys playing it, though.
We did it at Villa Terrace, remember?
Oh, yes.
That was like the premiere of the piece.
Yes, I do remember that. I like to throw these things once in a while. They're fun.
Yeah.
So, what did you think? Did you like it, Denise?
I did. I like the clash. A lot of times with music, people think that you have to have everything like harmonic, but you can also play around with clashing notes also, and it can be just as cool and interesting. And so I'm glad that the show actually shows the contrast between, clashing, and then you have some suspensions that can be resolved, and they start to learn and appreciate other types of music too. It doesn't have to always just be matchy.
Exactly. Yeah, I was really working with that whole idea of the suspension and the dissonance resolving. This is a lot more. This is a lot less dissonant than the route that I had gone then for a while after this. But then in my new string quartet that's being played Saturday, that one I've got moments of consonance like this again. I think I've come full circle back to it. I'm laughing because I put the microphone in front of Jacob in case he wanted to say something, and apparently not, so we'll just move right along here. Just let me know when you want to say something. So that we're just kind of doing a little walk through history of my friendship, my musical friendship with Tom, and we've been, good friends in every way. So yes, we did play in a band together, and I am a little bit reticent sometimes to play some of these old tunes from True Heart Susie, but for some reason I keep doing it, and Denise keeps encouraging
they're awesome. They're awesome.
Well, we all go through musical evolutions and personal evolutions, so.
That's true. So true. Because even my old stuff, I look and say, oh, yeah, I did do that at some point in time, but listen to this. I just made this last week.
But isn't that a great feeling to just keep moving forward?
It is. It gives you a sense of accomplishment where you're not stuck in a sound which was good for its time, but once you got to another point with time, you progress with it, and that's always a good feeling. So I think it's more so just excitement of being able to say, hey, this is where I started, but here's where I am now. I'm doing some cool things, and people are able to kind of hear the difference between the 2 sounds that you've had.
Well, and the other issue too is as time goes on, you're a pretty young woman, so you haven't quite experienced this the way I have. But as time goes on, you will look back and you'll realize, even though at the time you were making whatever we were making, you didn't think it sounded dated. You will look back and go, wow, that's so 2014, or you don't see that now.
Well,
but
how many people with the big hair in the 80s thought that they were dated then? They thought, well, this is the latest thing. This big hair is great.
Hey, what you hating on the big hair? Come on.
Well, no,
Jacob still has big hair, or he does have big hair, we should say.
He has timeless big hair. It's not 80s big hair. That's timeless big hair.
I had 80s big hair the week before last, so.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes, for your party.
Yeah, I did, which no one else dressed up for. I'm still upset about that.
Yeah, well, you gotta be you, Denise.
Yeah, that's true.
So yes, when I listen to this music, it does sound a little dated to me. And I will say this: part of the reason that I don't care for the recordings as much as I would like to is because my singing at the time wasn't as evolved. I had not taken. I had gone back to UWM after these recordings and studied voice some more, and that's when I really got serious about it. So I have very bad vowels. Denise, you're gonna cringe. I have very bad vowels in this number that we're about to listen to here. But it's called Ride. Remember Ride, Tom?
Oh, of course.
Of course. And I'm featuring this one because there's a lot of prominent violin on this one. So this is like circa 1991 or 92.
No, I think, 93 maybe, 94, I think, closer.
Okay. Yeah, it's a little foggy for me here, too. All right, we are going to listen to Ride on riverwestradio.com.
My head's
Ride on riverwestradio.com, and that was featuring the fabulous Tom Hansen on the Zeta electric guitar. And yes, I don't like my vowels. My pitch was pretty good. That was before pitch correction, ladies and gentlemen. But Tom, you were flawless. That was awesome.
On the Zeta electric violin.
Did I say guitar?
Yes, you did. But that's okay. Everybody knew what you were talking about, I'm sure.
I don't know why I said that. Maybe because it's just so smoking that you just can hardly believe it's a classical instrument.
Well, everybody, you talk about electric guitar a lot more than electric violin. So it kind of rolls off the tongue, electric guitar more. Maybe not so much for me, but for some people. But
Yeah.
I was one of those people. I was very shocked when I went to a concert, and I was like, what is that? It was the cello, but it was just,
Oh, yeah.
it was cool.
I'm Not a
looking.
Pilot? That one? Yeah.
I didn't know what that was. I
Yeah.
just thought it was cool.
yeah, there's more and more. You see more and more strings in rock these days. I mean, it's becoming more and more common, and I really like to see that because I think it adds a bit of sophistication to it because it really is. I mean, it takes a little bit more dedication to really be good at a stringed instrument as it's a different direction to take. And, because I like to see that because a lot of times classical players can't play this sort of thing because they're just so used to just reading notes off the page. And then a lot of times the rock musicians don't want to take the effort to learn a stringed instrument, and so.
Right, and something that's what was so great about working with you is when I work with you, I get the best of both worlds. You can jam, you can play without the music, and yet if I give you a piece of sheet music, you can play it. And that's, as a composer and a writer, that's just so great to just be able to hand something to someone and they can play it.
Yeah, well, it's always been fun working with you on that stuff, so.
Yay. We've been talking a lot about my concert Saturday, but there's also something going on this weekend.
Yes, I finally found out that I do have the show. I'm in the show. I wasn't sure because the email went to my spam, and so I was thinking that I wasn't getting the email. And she emailed like a month ago, and I had no idea.
Okay.
So I did find it in time. The concert is called R&B Live. It's going to be at Club Suite, which is on 3rd. It's on 3rd and Old World 3rd Street. It's MLK, but it turns into Old World 3rd Street. It's a block before State, right next to...
I think I know where that is.
Yeah,
that's
right next to...
That's a classy place.
It's very nice in there. And the show starts at 7 o'clock. And you can get there early if you want. You can pay for tickets at the door. It's more expensive at the door. It's $20 at the door. But if you buy in advance, it's $10. And if you would like more information, you can go to Facebook and type in R&B Live. I believe the website should pop up.
Awesome.
And if not, you can find me on Facebook. My name is Denise Smith Burton, Burton, and you can friend request me or write me a message, and I'll send a link to you.
Awesome. So are you going to be singing and playing live?
I'll be singing. They have a house band that'll play for me.
Oh, wow.
I'm singing a cover song by India Ivory, Brown Skin.
Oh, that's so great. Now, do you
Yeah.
have any idea what time you actually are going to be going on?
I'm not sure. I'm the newbie, and so they'll
Okay.
probably toss me out there quite early since
Yeah.
I'm not the feature. Yeah.
Oh, okay, the reason I'm asking is because Jacob and I have a family Thanksgiving dinner thing to be happening on Sunday, and his twin brother is here from out of town.
You have a twin?
Yeah.
That is
do.
awesome. Is he evil?
No, he's the
I'm the
evil
evil
one. Haven't
one,
you
yeah.
figured that out?
I
So
know, right?
does he have big hair too?
No, he does not. We're fraternal.
They're
He's-
fraternal twins.
Wow.
Okay.
He has, my hair is 100 times his hair.
So you don't really look like each other that much.
No, not really. Well, there's little similarities, but we don't look very similar at all.
You look more like your mom, and he looks more like your dad.
Yeah, I know. I look way more like my mom than I do like my twin. But
Speaking of your dad, he is going to be a guest on the show next week because they are also going to be in town for the holidays. So you get to meet them.
That's
Excellent.
great.
There you
Man,
go.
we're going to have some fun.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a really good holiday season for this show, I think. We're going to have some fun.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the week after that, I've got somebody scheduled. I can't remember who. Oh, Do you remember Monica Renee from MATC?
Yes.
She's going to be coming in a couple weeks too.
Yes, I can't wait to
Yes.
see her. I haven't seen her in a while.
She's a very smart woman. She has a lot of really unique, strong opinions, which I want to hear what she has to say. And she's got some new
Definitely.
music that's dropping. So
That's awesome.
all this excitement, and Tom is here. And it's his birthday! Yay! Happy birthday, Tom! Woo! We can't sing the happy birthday song, or those two old ladies will sue us. So.
Yeah.
So instead, we're going to play something completely different. So moving right along with Tom and I in our parallel careers here at UWM, then as an undergrad, I was studying composition with Yehuda Yanai, whose music we are also going to listen to today. And I wrote a piece that was for electronics, which the way the electronics that you're going to hear were created is I took sound bites from the album Bitches Brew by Miles Davis. And then I manipulated those sound bites to the extent where you would never know that's where I got that material from. There's only one recognizable riff in there, and I left it in there just to point to the fact that it is from that album. Alluding, yes. And so the name of the piece is Miles from North Avenue, and it had sort of a double entendre. Since we the band had played on North Avenue, had a club on North Avenue a lot, and the piece was very different than the kind of music we played in the club, and then of course the Miles reference. So this is Tom Hansen featured on the Zeta Electric Violin playing live with the recorded electronic music at UWM here on riverwestradio.com. Miles from North Avenue on riverwestradio.com, featuring the violin playing of Thomas Henson. Mr. Henson, was it difficult to have to play along with a pre-recorded electronic score?
It had its challenges, yes. I seem to remember that we ended up with all sorts of interesting little squiggle marks and stuff in the score to try to indicate what I should do, and there was like distortion indicated in some places and not, and different effects and things like that, and so I don't think I'd ever actually seen that notated in actual sheet music before, because it was always just all the band stuff we did was all by ear, and we didn't really have scores. I mean, you did, but.
Yeah, well, I mean, modern composition demands that you make up notational indications for what you want.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
so I mean, if there's something that I want you to do that isn't like typical, we talked about different techniques, and you also, because you were using the electronic or the electric violin, you also had at your disposal like all of these sound effects and stuff.
Right.
And so you auditioned a bunch of them for me to
Yeah.
choose from.
So who knows? Maybe in 100 years they'll be using Italian terms like distorciando and stuff like that.
That'd be awesome. I would use that all the time, just to annoy people.
Reverbiendo.
Yeah, there you go.
I like it. So then our musical collaboration continued into 2009, which is when I got my master's degree. I had to write a piece, and it had to be substantial for your thesis. You have to kind of culminate your whole studies with something to show for it. And so I did 2 pieces. I wrote a piece for choir that's really super hard, and I wanted MATC choirs to try it, and it was just too hard.
Yeah.
And then I wrote a second piece for electronics and cello and piano, except, so Tom did not perform on this collaboration, but tell us a little bit about your job, Tom, and tell us about that first, and then we'll explain how this ties in.
Okay, well, basically, I work at a place called, it used to be called the Great Lakes Water Institute. That's what it's known by for many years, and now it's grown into the School of Freshwater Sciences at UWM, and we're located on the end of Greenfield Avenue. Basically, before you're going to dunk yourself in the water, we're right there. So, and basically, what my job has been for the 10 years or so that I've been there is basically collecting data, assembling databases of the data that they collect, and also helping to design and build data collection devices such as buoys that are around the lake. We had a big a buoy project for several years where we had sometimes as many as half a dozen buoys out there collecting data and radioing in their information, like the water temperature and the waves and different things like the pH of the water, how cloudy the water was, that type of thing. And I created this sort of web-based dashboard where you could go in and you could see all the data in real time. And what I did was I was sort of inspired by some other work I had seen, and thought of the idea of basically taking the data and converting it into actual musical notes by basically, it was basically it was primarily a linear mapping. So like the I'd establish like a note, say like 2 octaves above middle C could be the high part, and then maybe an octave below middle C would be the lowest part. And so if like say the temperature hit the high for the day, you'd hear that high 2 octave above middle C, and then when it hit the low for the day, maybe you'd hear the lowest note. And in between, you could hear the patterns of what was happening.
So in other words, instead of a visual graph, you were conceiving of an oral AUR.
Right.
Graph.
A sound.
The sound graph, so you could hear instead of see it.
It's actually called it's called sonification, is the term, and actually, that is I guess the most famous use of data sonification is the Geiger counter.
Right.
Where you hear like tick 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 when you get closer to radiation, and that's sort of the most famous and well known use of that because it lends itself really well. But there's lots of other possible applications that are just really sort of starting to be developed.
Wasn't part of the impetus for this because it was felt that perhaps by listening for patterns, one might might perceive and notice patterns that are there that you might not notice by looking. Because the experience of listening to something is different than seeing.
See that your eyes are very good at seeing spatial patterns, but your ears are very good at hearing time-based patterns.
Right.
And so, like for example, I can remember having this discussion with this fellow computer guy about like the speed of this particular operation on the computer, and I said, no, the way you do it this way, and it's faster than that way. And he did not agree. So I put beeps in the program, and so one way went deet 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 deet, and the other one went deet deet deet. And my friend looked at me and he's like, Tom, you've managed to convince me. Because you just hear it, and the thing about hearing is that you can distinguish multiple different tones at once. I mean, you can be at a restaurant and hear background music and hear conversation, and you can actually simultaneously perceive them both at the same time. And actually you can sometimes even overhear another conversation while you're talking to somebody, and you can actually process all that. And that's a testament to how sophisticated the human ear really is at
Right, because good luck reading two things at once.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's just the fact that babies can pick out their mother's voices from all other women in the room.
Yep.
Just that the slight change in timbre from one person to another, and yet we can recognize that instantly.
Yeah, and just even the shape of the ear helps us distinguish like direction of sound. So you can tell if something's coming from the right or to the left, or even behind you or in front of you. And it's all just because of the very sensitive signal processing that's really going on in your brain with your ear. And I think there's a great deal left to be explored with that. I mean, especially with time series of data, where there's subtle patterns that can develop over time. Like for example, there's a lot of work being done in the area of climate, because of the fact that there's this climate change going on that they used to always call it global warming, but they sort of call it climate change now because it's a little more accurate term. But there's ways you have to be able to look at that data and to really see if what we're experiencing now, is it, the fundamental question is it really fundamentally different from what's happened, in the millions of years before, or is is it actually fundamentally different? And I think there's things like being able to sonify the data, be able to hear it, and be able to get a feel for how the data is changing over time.
Maybe we need to make people hear every single crack in a glacier.
Well,
that's not quite what he's talking about.
Well, right.
But Tom, he sounds real smart, don't he?
Well,
and guess what? He's going to be having some letters behind your name pretty soon to kind of show that off.
I'm working on that. So.
Yeah. So when is your projected?
I'm doing it part time because I still have my full time job. So.
Well, sure.
So it's at this point, but I'm gonna be pinning that down really soon now, because I'm been sort of taking the slow boat, so to speak. And but yeah, I'm a little anxious to get that over with and get on with the rest of my career here. So.
Well, because see, Tom came into water science. It was serendipity, really. I mean, he was a computer programmer and a computer specialist, and came into the Water Institute with those skills and just really took to this whole thing and really did well. And you were recognized at work for being really good at it. And so they're like, "Gee, Tom, why don't you go get that PhD?" You're like, "Okay."
That's awesome.
Well, so yeah, because I mean, I've always had a lifelong interest in science and things like that, but I always sort of centered on, I've sort of honed in on computers because I think it's a good match for how my brain works.
Yeah.
If nothing else.
Definitely.
But there's a lot of really, really excellent applications for it, and I'm really thankful to have this opportunity to be able to work at this place and study with these people that are just experts in their field.
Well, and right now, water and what you're doing is extremely relevant. I mean, the Water Institute in Milwaukee is prominent worldwide. It's a world acclaimed.
Yes, yeah, I mean, it's definitely, and now that the School of Freshwater Sciences has been instigated, that allows, that supports a whole academic program of, masters and PhD and our new dean is actually doing a lot of outreach around the world to bring international students in.
That's fantastic.
And like
and they can all see the Milorganite plant.
Right.
So the piece I'm going to play, so Tom had sonified some of this data, and then he gave me the sounds, and I turned those wave files into music. But when he gave me these sounds, many of them were very, very low frequency, so what I had to do is to repeat them and then boost the frequency up by several octaves and that sort of thing, which is one of the procedures that I used to try to get a sound that was extremely low and some of them were too quiet for the human ear until I boosted them up several octaves. But what I did then was, once I got some sounds, I manipulated all of this to get it to sound like water. It's really it's conceptual. I mean, I could have used any source material to kind of work with these programs and get that, but it's just neat that the source material was data about water, and then I manipulated that to sound like water. And so the beginning is this, I'm trying to create this environment where there's this like symphony of water drops that go around your head. And then as the piece progresses, and we won't get to listen to the whole thing because it's like 25 minutes long, but as the piece progresses, you hear a boat going by, and you hear what I call the lake monster. And then you hear, with this you also have melodic elements on the cello and the piano, but there's also a second piano. So the piece would be performed, it has not been performed yet, but it would be performed with live piano, and inside the live piano is a speaker that has a piano that has notes that are detuned by quarter tones. And so this pitch set has consonant and detuned notes, and so the real piano is playing along with the detuned. So it's this strange disconnect where these detuned pitches are coming out of a perfectly good well-tuned piano. It makes no sense. And it's just kind of this little cognizant strange disconnect there. So I won't be able to play the whole thing, but I'm going to do the little water drop fugue at the beginning, and then I'm going to pause and play a little bit of the detuned piano so we can hear that. So Tom's contribution was all the source material for what we are about to hear. Nope, that's the other one. We heard that one already. This is the piece, and it's called A Strew on riverwestradio.com.
Might have done it, but I just couldn't access.
So that's the opening. So that's the opening fugue of Water Droplets in the piece, and each and every one of those individual sounds were placed individually in Pro Tools. Actually, no, I was using Digital Performer for this one. So cutting, pasting, and placing all those individual water drops. I'm going to fast forward to about 20 minutes into the piece. Actually, I think this is more like 9 minutes into the piece, where we can hear the detuned piano and the real piano. So I think that's kind of strange. Here it is. And the piece goes on. It's quite long. It's quite long, and it's probably the most challenging to listen to pieces that I've written because it's really a lot about space and placement. There's not a lot of melodic material. It's very much about textures and timbres. And so it was fun. And like I said, Tom gave me these wave files that were based on these graphs, and I tried to turn it back into water. So I'm going to switch gears for 1 second and just play something else that I think is pertinent to all this self-promotion for the day. Then I'm going to turn over the iPod, or as it were, the device, to Tom, and he's going to play some of his other music that he's done since doing some of this stuff. But I want to switch gears and play something by my mentor and professor when I was in undergrad, Yehuda Yonai. And I want to play this piece because it's just mind-blowing. And it's 10 minutes long, so it is long, but I really want to take the time to play it because what he does here with timbres, with sound, is just amazing. This is a piece for a flute orchestra, so it has all the different parts of the orchestra, the different, just different voices from the highest piccolo to the lowest bass flute. And several musicians on one part, just like in an orchestra. And bayan, which is an instrument that's like an accordion, but it's all the buttons. And it's just amazing. And the thing about Yehuda that I'm constantly realizing I need to learn more from him is he just works with how the instrument sounds and has people do things with the instruments that are not standard, and he gets sounds that are so different. It sounds like there's synthesizer in this. There isn't any. This is not electronic music. This is flutes and a bayan. And the piece is called, appropriately, the piece is called Coming Up for Air, which is the first movement. The entire piece is called More from Less. And if you Google Yehuda Yanai, and he's on Facebook as well, but you can purchase the recording of this performance, which was done by the it's in France. It's the Flute Orchestra of France. And the bayanist is Stash Venglevsky, who has worked with Yehuda many, many times. So here we have Coming Up for Air. This is Yehuda Yanai's music on riverwestradio.com. The piece is called More from Less, and that movement, which is the first movement, was called Coming Up for Air. Isn't that amazing?
It really was. Yeah, there were times where I thought there were voices, like singing voices.
Yeah.
And then there was other times where it sounded like that little toy that you spin around with.
Yeah.
There was all sorts of textures in there that it was difficult to know where they were exactly how they were where they were coming from, which is mission accomplished. You know?
Yeah. Well, I admire his music. It was great having he was a very inspiring teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And we still keep in touch. Unfortunately, he can't be at the concert Saturday because he's going to be out of town. But I will definitely give him a recording. And he's the person who lined up the musicians who are amazing, amazing new music people from UWM. Scott Cook on cello. And two of the women have names I really have a hard time pronouncing because they're Russian names, but Olga and Tatiana are amazing musicians. Olga plays the viola, and she's just outstanding. And then Pamela Simmons, see, I can say that. But Olga and Tatiana have very difficult last names I can't pronounce, so I'm so excited to hear them play. So, Tom, it's your birthday party. What do you want to do?
Well,
I'm going to hand you the AUX 2 cord. You're going to plug it in, and you're going to
you're turning your this dangerous territory here, possibly.
You might have to move your chair up just a hair.
I'm gonna have to scoot up a little bit here, but anyway.
So Tom, since working with me, has been in a lot of different projects. You've played with more people, I think, than anyone I know.
Well, I've played with several, and actually I guess to get a little bit of a history of my band history in Milwaukee is that actually when I first moved to Milwaukee, the first people that were involved with bands at all were I just happened to meet these guys from this reggae band.
Right.
And I actually played a few shows with them, and it sort of led to some ridiculous clothing choices of mine.
Which I aptly pointed out.
That Julie luckily rescued me from that.
Oh my goodness. Denise, we're talking about lime green shorts, and I mean short shorts.
Oh, no.
And no, wait, there's more. And Rastafarian colored, like striped colored belt with the lime green shorts.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, my friend, you're a good-looking guy. This is not working.
We have those moments as artists, though,
Yeah,
where we try our best to match the sound. And if our sound is, tropical, then we go for that tropical look.
It wasn't working for him.
No,
It just wasn't working for him.
it certainly wasn't. I mean, if you look back at maybe some of your singing that you don't like from the past, I can look at my
The lime green shorts.
and
Hey, Tom, we all make mistakes.
Yes.
Well, right.
Maybe a key lime pie next time. Maybe.
Yes, perhaps. So anyway, as I was looking for, when I just found out that this little online party was happening, I wasn't able to locate an actual CD or tape, because actually when I was with the band, they only did one cassette, because that was back before everybody had CDs.
Mm-hmm.
So I've probably got that cassette knocking around someplace in the bottom of some box in my attic or something, but I wasn't able to find that. But what I did find was there was actually a band that originally was a reggae band, and then they decided to do some other things. And my brother Pete, who's actually he's a very excellent keyboard player, and
Yes, he is.
we were in this band together for a while called Men Among Thieves. It was late '80s, early '90s band, and so I've got a selection here, and I sort of picked this mainly, it's largely due to its historical value as well as other things, because it's quite It's quite it's from 1991, and it's the first CD that I was ever on.
Okay.
And it was also the first CD that most bands in the area had ever done, because they just decided they wanted to go off and do this. So now the problem is that on my little iPhone here, it doesn't tell me the name of the band of the song, so I may pick the wrong one. But there's two of them, and they're both it's kind of poppy stuff. But one of them has my brother on it, and one of them has both of us on it, and one of them has just me. So I'm just gonna
Pick one.
here we go.
And I know
Men Among Thieves on riverwestradio.com.
Yeah, so I guess I'm sort of telling a little bit of a story here because that was me before Julie.
Flashbacks.
Back in his
And,
innocent youth, yeah.
Now for contrast, I'm going to play. Now after this is during Julie, but this is a little bit of a different style here, and this is maybe I can't play this because it's a cover.
Yeah, we can't do covers.
No covers at all.
No covers at all. Unless
Oh.
it's in the public domain, like,
Lark's Tongues and Aspics, probably
no,
not.
No, I can't do
probably
it.
How about
not.
an excerpt?
No.
It could be 7 seconds of it.
Can it be 7 seconds?
That's all we can do.
Okay.
Okay. Well, let me see if I can find 7 seconds in here to. Here, can you turn the volume off on this so that I can?
Yep, I did. So while he's looking for 7 seconds, which there was a really great band in the 90s called 7 Seconds, actually.
That's
I
awesome.
wonder if that's what it was referring to. 7 seconds.
Yeah.
Never thought of that.
Maybe it could be a quiz question.
It could be a quiz question for me to find out.
Yeah.
We didn't do a quiz today, everybody, because I figured we'd hang out and let Tom just kind of decide what he wanted to play for his birthday today. But next week we are going to have Andy Mushin, and your brother John might even come on, and Laura might come on the show.
I'll ask him. I'll see who wants to show up. At least my dad said he'd do it.
Well, that would be great. And Denise, if you can bring something next week to play of yours, that would be really cool.
Because the guests from next week are they're music connoisseurs, but they're not exactly composers. They don't have their own material to bring on.
Okay.
They'll definitely critique some music with us and talk about songwriting and composition, and
Nice.
they might have an original thing or two to bring in of people they know, but they're not probably going to bring in some of their own stuff like Tom has. So
Well, maybe your dad could bring in some music that he has permission to play.
right, that's what I figured. He'll probably
He
bring,
does a radio show. It's called Sounds Jewish.
Oh,
all Jewish
cool.
music,
Okay,
yeah.
so here I'm ready.
Okay, Tom's
Ready
ready.
with my 7 seconds of.
7 seconds of
Mayhem.
Lark's Tongue.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, that was awesome.
Really awesome.
Yes.
It really was awesome. I want a copy of that.
So yeah, I can get you a copy. I've got the whole disc of all their stuff they did. But
Did you bring any Riley?
yes, actually I did. I did,
Oh.
and that's going to be another little chapter of my story here because let's see, yeah, because so you can see her before Julie, after Julie. I got pretty spiced up with my stuff here, and then
got some serious chronology going here.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I feel like I'm time
And then,
traveling. It's awesome.
Now, for a while, I mean, I just want to sort of interject before I get to the Riley stuff. I would sort of interject this other little
Oh, okay.
story.
Uh-huh.
Is that there was a band called Like Venus that I played with, and they just happened to call. I got connected through Bill Stace with Walls Heavier Studios, and he just had me on his list of violinists that people could use for studio stuff. So they called me up, and I literally went over there. It turned out they were recording in the basement of their basement, like 3 blocks away from where I was living at the time.
Oh, cool.
And they called me up, and that night I just went over and recorded like 3 songs. And then that was it, and they gave me like $50 or something, and then that was that was the end of it. And I promptly basically forgot all about it.
You know what, Tom? I'm glad you're
And-
explaining it this way because I'm sitting here going, like Venus, like, why don't I remember this? Oh my God, I don't remember this. Oh my God, I don't remember this.
No,
But he doesn't remember it either.
No,
He
So.
doesn't remember it either.
because it was like, okay, so then fast forward 6 months or so, and I'm down on North Avenue just by myself, wondering just saying, oh, I wonder what's going on at the Globe tonight. So of course you all remember the old Globe on North Avenue.
Well, they don't, but we do.
Right. And so I walk into the Globe, knowing that probably my friend Brian Miller was doing sound, and at least have somebody to chat with for a little bit.
Sure.
So I walk in, and this guy that I sort of remembered him from somewhere, but I didn't remember where. He came up to me. He's like, "Tom, I'm so glad you came. Here's a copy of the disc, and oh, I'm so psyched that you came to the CD release party." And it was the CD release party for this thing that I had done, and I just thought that it was like so strangely ironic that
Yes.
I just happened to walk in, and of course I didn't.
Yes, of course I meant to be here. Yes, of course. Yes, I wouldn't
free
miss it for the
CD
world.
score.
Of course, with my luck, that guy's probably listening to this program, and he's gonna be like
He hates you now, Tom.
no. Well, I think I explained it well enough.
Yes, I think you did.
Hey, you're playing his music. He doesn't have to pay for it, so he can't
Well,
hate you
there
that
it is.
bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what's the name of this song?
I don't remember.
It's okay. That we really hates you.
Well, see, the problem is that my little iPod thing here truncates the song title, so I can't see them until it starts playing.
Okay,
So we
you
know
can tell us after.
Right, we know the band name at least.
Okay, so
Right.
this is just this is sort of you'll hear it.
Okay.
Starless sky, alone and thinking. Every time that I say goodbye to starless nights. Every time that I say goodbye to starless skies.
So that was Like Venus on riverwestradio.com. And Tom, what was the name of that song?
It was called, hold on, let me grab the jacket again, and I will tell you that it was called Dreaming of Dreams.
That's pretty catchy, don't you think?
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
liked
what
it.
you put on there.
Yeah, for some reason it my little thing shows that it was twice as long as it was. Maybe there's a hidden track on there that we missed. But
Huh. Well, so what year did this come out?
this was in '97.
Okay. All right. We're moving right along here into
So,
the late
yeah.
90s now.
So that Lark's Tongues thing, I think, was in '96, and then this was '97, and then if we fast forward to 2004, I believe it was. Actually 2007. We have a track that I recorded with Michael Tierney Tinker and the band Riley, and this is a song that he wrote called "Brave the Fight," which I don't know if he specifically wrote it with me in mind, but I've had some issues with my health, and he's been very supportive, as everyone has been, and so even though I was actually not in the band anymore, but they wanted me to come back and record the song with them.
Oh,
So,
awesome.
So that's the story behind this, and so it's called "Brave the Fight," and it's with it's me playing with Riley.
All right.
every time you hit the ground. Here's my arm to help you to your feet. Here's my hand in trust. My souls will never rust. Hear our voices singing loud as we run down the street. I pray while you're on the way, deep into the night. Side by side we'll brave the fight and ride straight towards the day, straight into the sun, singing for the freedom we have won. I pray while you're on the way,
That's Riley on riverwestradio.com. That's awesome, Tom. It sounds really great.
Yeah, it was a fun track, and of course, Tinker and all those guys in Riley are really talented.
And they're really nice guys too.
And they're really, really nice. They're really good friends
and
of ours.
I love Kimmy, the fiddle player they have now is really she's really
Sadal,
great.
yeah.
She knows how to she just smiles and dances on stage all night, and I don't know where she gets all that energy, because maybe once upon a time I could have done that, but.
Well, what are you going to play for us? We're going to do one more song, so I just want to, we'll go out with this song, so I just want to thank everyone for being here. Denise, thanks for showing up again, and
Anytime.
Jacob showing up again, and don't forget Denise's show on Sunday at 7:30 at the very classy club called
Sweet.
Sweet.
7 o'clock, I'm sorry.
7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And Saturday night is my concert at 7:30 at the Jazz Gallery, and I think Tom is going to tell us. And Tom Hansen, yay, happy birthday, Tom! We've been friends for a really long time, and it's great to spend your birthday with you. Birthday Eve.
Well, it's great to spend my birthday with you as well. So
what are we going out with here, Tom?
We're going out with something a little bit different. It's a band I play with called Honky Tonkitis, and we do we do this traditional song called Orange Blossom Special.
What year is this song?
This was done just last year, about a year ago.
So that's Chris's band, right?
Yes, Chris and John Steffes.
Yeah.
And Don Turner on accordion.
Okay.
And Kurt Weber on drums.
Yeah, Don Turner's name has come up on a couple recordings by other bands as well in this on the show.
Well, he and his brother Ron have been musical fixtures in this town for longer than I think we have been.
Yeah. Chris is a real nice guy too. I don't know the other guys as well, but Chris is just one of the sweetest guys you ever want to meet.
Yep.
So Honky Tonkitis, this has been Compose Yourself with Julie Brandenburg. We're going to go out with Honky Tonkitis, and the name of the song is
Orange Blossom Special.
Hey, looky at it coming down that railroad track. Hey, looky at it coming down that railroad track. It's that Orange Blossom Special, bringing my baby back. Some sand in my shoes. I'll ride that Orange Blossom Special and lose these New York blues. Yeah. Back down to Florida. Don't know if I ever will. Well, ain't you worried about getting your nourishment up in New York City? Oh, I don't care. Well, talk about your rambling. She's the fastest train on the line. And talk about your traveling. She's the fastest train on the line. she's that orange blossom special, rolling down that seaboard line.